Welcome to the latest episode of the Motion Picture Show, and this time I'm going to be reviewing the 1982 classic Poltergeist. Poltergeist was released on the 16th of September 1982. It was directed by Tobe Hooper, famed for his 1974 The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The story was by Steven Spielberg, who also produced the film. The movie stars Craig T. Nelson, Jo Beth Williams, Heather O'Rourke, and Oliver Robbins. The movie introduced us to the Freeling family. The dad watching a football game with his friends, the mum doing the housework, and the kids just playing. Steve, the father, he works for a property development company, and he lives on the land that they're developing. He lives in phase 1, he's selling phase 4, and he's the best salesman they've got. We see Heather O'Rourke, who plays Carol Ann, wake up in the middle of the night, come downstairs and have a childlike conversation with the white noise on the TV. The rest of the family wake up and experience this and really don't see any harm in it, actually. They all go back to bed, forget things are going on. Then it starts to play really on Robbie, the young lad. He has this fear of clowns and this tree outside, which is actually Steven Spielberg's fear as a child. Robbie has a nightmare and gets really scared, and all the kids end up in the parents' bed, which we've no doubt all parents out there have experienced something like that. As TV finishes, the national anthem is played, and Carol Ann wakes up and begins to talk to the TV again. But this time, something else happens. A great big white light zaps out and zaps above the bed and shakes the whole house. It's the only house in the block that feels like it's had an earthquake. Steve, the father, tries to explain this to his boss, to local neighbours. No one felt nothing. So they just forget about it. Next thing, a thunderstorm comes and the tree blasts through the window of the children's bedroom, picking up Robbie, grabbing hold of him, and Carol Ann gets sucked into a white light within the cupboard. All hell breaks loose. So the family can't find Carol Ann. They hear a voice coming out of the TV. They end up contacting a supernatural team, and even they have no answers. They believe it's all being faked by the family. The CB radio's here, that's where Carol Ann's voice is coming from. And then they experience something, and they can't handle it. They bring in Tangina, played by Zelda Rubinstein. As time goes on, she is the one that brings Carol Ann back to her parents. Now, for me, I watched this movie as a child, and to this day, it's still got good memories. But watching it as an adult, you can really see why Spielberg picked this cast. Even the children, they all played fantastic parts and played their roles brilliantly. They all emphasised, the parents emphasised the anguish of losing a child, couldn't find her, yet they could hear it in the house. The freaked out of the things moving across the kitchen floor, watches and things and rubies falling out of the sky in the living room for no reason. They all played this really well. And to say when the movie got released, the filmmakers pushed for a PG-13, this movie has now got a 15 in the UK anyway. And in these days, that's nothing. A PG-13 back in 82, that's tame. That's tame. And especially to see a guy completely pull his face to pieces in the mirror. It's not PG-13. But what a movie. So even as a kid, this movie, alright, it's not so scary, but it was eerie. It was really eerie. Hearing like Carol Ann's voice coming through the white noise of the TV, even to this day, is still pretty freaky. Now, Spielberg heavily influenced this. Even though he was producer and he wrote the story, he was on set a lot throughout this movie, and he had to, explain to the characters what he wanted, and this, which normally comes from a director. But Spielberg really was heavily involved in this, and even to the point where the final scene where Jo Beth Williams is in the pool outside, she didn't really want to get in the pool because of all the lights that were, all the studio equipment. Well, it's not even studio, but the equipment that was hanging over the pool. Spielberg got in the pool with her and he said, listen, if you fry, I fry, and we fry together. Now, that's someone who's got passion. As much as Spielberg has made some weird movies, and we won't talk about the final Indiana Jones movie that he made, Spielberg has got passion, and that's what I love about him. And I mean, he picked Tobe Hooper. For me, Tobe Hooper is a 1 in a million director. Toolbox Murders, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this. The guy was a genius, absolute genius, what he came up with. And to this day, people still use the outline of Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the movies. I mean, look at Rob Zombie's House of Thousand Corpses. Brilliant example of taking someone's idea, putting it into their own. For an 80s movie, the special effects in this back then would look amazing. Some people would say they look a bit cheesy now. I would completely disagree. This movie, to me, it's still got warmth about it. You know, that's how much love I have for this movie. It is one of my favourite horror movies. I think it inspired me for supernatural movies. I mean, nobody can make a supernatural movie like that these days. It's the fact that you don't see anything. When you see a supernatural or a Poltergeist movie, these days they portray it, you get to see it. That's not what's scary. The scary thing is when you don't see it. And as much as you see demonic monsters at the end, kind of in the end part of the movie, it's there. It's a poltergeist. It's coming to attack you. It's going to take a form, but it's not a human form, and that's what I like about this movie. It's still freaky to this day. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend go out and watch it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Help us grow. It doesn't cost a single penny to do, and hit that little notification bell and you'll get told every time I release a new video. If you haven't already, please like the video. That does help with YouTube's algorithms and get us shown out there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time on the Motion Picture Show.